Hello and welcome to the light. Oops, I mean the Voice of the Terminus show.
You know where you go, and you know how to get there.
We got Lex with us. We got Lex with us today. Say hello, Lex.
No, I'm sick, so I'll try not to cough in everyone's face.
And
unless you play a halfling or a paladin.
We have Shy in the background. Say hello, Shy.
Hello.
She will be taking questions from chat during this discussion to ask our guests towards the end. And we're joined with by NathanNapalm. Say hello, mate.
Hello, everybody.
Wait, did you just call him Nepal?
No.
Really?
No. So, as you can see, Josh is not there. Josh is currently on leave. He'll be back in 2 weeks' time. So, basically, he'll be back for the 30th of November. Because in 2 weeks' time, it's basically Thanksgiving, so we won't be streaming there. But we're here today to talk to the NathanNapalm.
You did it again.
I did. And do you want to go and start it off?
It's napalm.
Explosions.
You gotta just think. If you could make a name so metal it would explode, what would it be?
Nuke.
There you go.
Nuke. The nuke. That's it.
Luke the nuke. Sorry, but that's a little teeny boppery for me.
Let's go and kick it off, shall we, Lex?
Okay, I'll stop mucking around. So, Mr. Napalm, please tell us a little bit about your gaming background.
Sure. Okay. So I'm actually one of those dirty console players. Used to be anyway. I got a NES when I was a kid in 1989. Started playing video games. I actually, funny story, I used to think that if I could beat Super Mario Brothers, that would come out. I must have thought it was like a casino or something. But I've always loved Dungeons and Dragons, the gritty role playing, like fighting dragons, epic swords, and magic. So as I played through the NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, the Sega Saturn, the PlayStation, on when I got a little older and I got on my own, I got into PC game. And actually, the first PC game I got was Ultima Online, and then EverQuest was my second game I ever owned. Before that, I didn't really use PCs for gaming, and a good friend had told me about Ultima Online, how awesome it was, how you could interact with all these people online, and I just fell in love with that aspect, that possibility back then. And just the idea that there was real people all over the world, logging into this fantasy world and enjoying adventures together, and it just completely rocked my world. And I've not looked back. So, that's pretty much what's got me to here. It's been MMO after MMO from there. Cool.
So now, when you're playing an MMO, if you had the choice between playing with real-life friends or perhaps friends that you would made online, which would you actually jump at?
Well, there's definitely benefits to both. I have real-life friends I do game with. Our interests with a lot of my real-life friends kind of changed over the years, except for my wife. My wife plays whatever I play, so she's definitely along with me for every adventure I go on. But I feel like the genre's kind of really moved on from what me and my friends enjoyed out of MMOs until Pantheon. Really feel like it's kind of just moved so far away from what we enjoy. Now it's all about the online friends. So that's something special to me. So there's like this, I always feel like there's this obligation when I'm playing with online friends to make sure they're having a good time, to make sure that they're enjoying the game. And, I usually play a tank, so make sure I'm leading the party correctly and taking care of them, and everybody's getting their XP and having a good time. And that makes it more enjoyable to me. So I have more fun playing with the people I've met in the game. That's what brings me to MMOs anyway. So I have more fun with those people that I only know because of the game. So besides my wife, then
the wife or husbands always have exceptions.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I would say. Definitely online friends if I had to pick.
Nice. So, what's your typical setup at home? kind of system you're using, your number of screens, etc.
I guess I'm a little old school. I do have a decent rig right now that I've kind of been upgrading, trying to prepare for Pantheon. I've got a GeForce 1060 6GB. I've got 16 gigabytes of RAM. I use Windows 10. Now, because I came from the console world and that's my roots, I do use a 4K TV and hook it up through HDMI. I don't use monitors. Just, you know, it's cheaper. I feel like for the price. Right. So I use a 4K TV, and the funny thing is, though, about my setup is right now where we're living right now, I have my whole gaming setup upstairs, and it's actually me and my wife's bedroom. But my desk that I've used for years, I have a really nice desk, but it was too heavy to carry up the stairs. So my wife had this table that she had no use for in the house. So this is where it gets ridiculous. You know, when I game, I might game for like 15 hours straight, you know, until I just can't take it anymore. And the cans and kind of food and stuff kind of piles up in a game session sometimes. And apparently this table is like some antique built by her like great grandfather or something, like some infamous woodworker carpenter of the Ohio Valley or something. So she was afraid I was going to destroy it. So she put a tablecloth over it, right, to keep me from destroying it. And now every time when I work video or whatever, and I'm sitting here at my table making these videos, all I can think is it looks like I'm about to have Thanksgiving dinner here with this tablecloth and everything. And actually, I'm making it sound fancier than it really is. This is actually not actually even a tablecloth. I think this might be a fitted sheet that she's just put on here to keep me from destroying. But I've had, you know, that's something funny though, is I think console gamers, people that come from that world, because I have friends the same way, I think we always have a problem with our game station. We can't just be normal like the rest of the PC master race. I've had all kinds of ridiculous game stations in my life.
So I got to ask, do you have a coaster as well?
No coaster. But now that you said that, she's gonna have a coaster up here too. I wish you hadn't said that.
I'm a PC guy, and my workstation is always a mess. But it's my game station and my workstation. So I've got work notes, I've got game notes, I've got game pads, I've got programming reference books. You name it, it's on my desk.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. Mine's always squeaky clean. I have to have it squeaky clean. I don't know why. It's a feeble mine.
Well, now I like to clean it up before a game session, but during the session, whatever happens here is still here. You know, now when I begin a new session the next day, I'll clean everything up. I want it to be nice and neat. You know, have room to you know, do what I got to do. I don't want there to still be cans from the previous day and stuff. Actually, guys, it's not too far off topic. If you guys don't mind, it's kind of about this topic. If you wouldn't mind if I dived into, I guess you could say my gaming setup back when I started EverQuest, when I was new to PC gaming.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
It's a funny story. So basically, I had a really, really terrible PC at that time. You know, we're talking about 99, 2000, somewhere in that range. And like I said, I didn't have PCs for games. So who knows what graphics card was in this thing. But anyway, what had happened was I played Ultima for a while, and I knew there was this 3D beautiful game out there, you know, that other people were enjoying, and it was called EverQuest. But I knew my computer couldn't run this game. You know, it was 3D graphics, right? That was a big deal back then, and you had to have a really good card or whatever. So I got this pamphlet. I think it might have came from an EverQuest box or something, but it had like some very basic information. And I had poured through it and was just imagining, oh man, if only I could play this game. And how cool would this be, you know, run around a 3D world. So, but with my rinky-dink PC, I knew I couldn't do it. So I went to a game store, or to a computer store to get me a whole new computer. So I was planning. I went there. I was going to blow a whole 2 weeks paycheck. I really didn't have the money to do that at that time. I was just going to ignore my bills and obligations, all screws to the wind, you know. And I was going to play EverQuest that night. Like I decided, no matter what it took, I was going to get it. So while I'm there, the guy tells me, well, you don't need a new PC, you just need a new graphics card. So he shows me how to install it, and he sells me his graphics card. Well, if you guys remember back then, the kind of reputation that MMOs had in the early days, you know, I didn't want that guy who seemed like a really cool guy. I didn't want him to know. EverQuest was like right there, but I was like, I can't buy it to this guy. You know, he thinks that he was talking about Quake and like Unreal and things that he assumed I was going to play. So I got the graphics card. He showed me a basic, you know, how to put it in my computer. I went to I think it was EB or Boutique or something like that, and I got a copy of EverQuest. And when I bought EverQuest, the guy tried to talk me out of it. He was like, you know, people are ruining their lives over this game. You don't want to play this game. I was like, whatever, man. Just give me the game. I'm playing this game.
You don't know my life.
Yeah, my life's ruined already.
I wanted to ruin my life quest already. So I'm going home and I'm so excited. I got everything I need, and I'm going to play EverQuest tonight. And I'm already saying I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm skipping all obligations. I'm gonna go all in. So I'm already addicted to the game, and I haven't even yet. And when I get home, my tower, the graphics card wouldn't fit. So I'm all hasty. I'm wanting to play EverQuest. I don't got time for this. So I carve out a hole in the side of my computer, and the graphics card is just hanging out of it. And I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm new to PC gaming. And this sounds like I'm making it up, but somehow, when I was hooking everything back up, I don't know. I still to this day don't know what I did wrong. But when I was hooking it all up, there was this loud pop from my computer, and the electricity just went out. Boom. Like the guy downstairs, he had no electricity. But I wasn't giving up. I was playing EverQuest, right? Like I was not going to give up. You know, this was my first quest of EverQuest. I was getting through this night. I ended up figuring out that the electricity still worked in the bathroom, and I ran everything through the bathroom, extension cord, made a little box and had my computer set up on it, and I played EverQuest.
Wow.
It took the patch, but I played EverQuest, and I skipped the next day. And that's my story of my original addiction to MMO.
Now that is definitely dedication.
That's original, man.
Oh God, yeah. I wish I remembered my system at the time, because I honestly think that my PC that I played EverQuest on, the industrial park where I used to work, they used to just throw out PCs every year to get new ones. I am not kidding. I went dumpster diving for my EverQuest PC.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I piecemealed it. And who out there remembers the old Voodoo?
Yeah,
cards?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, Voodoo.
I think that's what I got. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing's got 128 megs of RAM. Wow, my computer.
3D graphics.
Oh, yeah. Man. Now, how old do you feel when you can seriously sit down and say, I was around before games were 3D?
Yep.
Oh, God. So, it sounds like you're just going to be upgrading your current PC. You're not going to opt out to get a whole new rig for Pantheon.
Probably not. I think I've got a decent setup. But you never know. If the game gets delayed to 2022, I might have
to get that itch.
Hey, and another thing you got to realize as well. You got to waifu games as well, so
right.
It makes sense to actually buy yourself a complete new system and just give the wife the upgraded one, because that's what I do every year. She'll get my old rig.
Yeah, old rig, right.
I'll tell her, hey, I'm going to buy you a new PC, and then when it all comes, that's my PC, and you get my old PC.
Just when you just tell her, just swap the parts.
Yeah.
Well, with your current machine, are there any more upgrade parts that you can think of that are still on your wish list?
Yeah. By that time, I'll probably upgrade my graphics card again. We'll see. Once I see the specs for the game, or once we get into alpha and I can kind of see how my rig works, I can kind of tweak it a little bit better. Maybe we'll see. I may not have to. And by then, you know, we're talking about a year and a half, 2 years probably before we're really a launch of the game. So by then, I'm probably going to be tired of this thing. I'll probably give it to the life and get something else.
Good man. So, do you craft in MMOs? You know, when will you be crafting, and what do you like to do?
Well, honestly, I'm not too big into crafting. Now, I do like to gather, and because Pantheon's so community driven, I would like to take part in the economy. So I will probably be doing fishing. I really like the scavenging thing they're talking about, because I can kind of combine the scavenging with, you know, while I'm out in the world, killing and adventuring, I can kind of scavenge as I'm doing it. So I'll probably be doing more of a gathering type. Now, if I do craft, I'm probably going to go with, which I eventually will, you know, I'll eventually do it. So I'll probably go with like making weapons and things like that.
Cool. So, what class and race are you typically drawn to when selecting your character to play?
Okay, so I'm hear me out on this one. All right, hear me out. I usually like to be a human. The thing is, I like to be in a fantasy world where ogres and elves and dwarves all exist, and I like to coexist with them. But I can't, like, almost from a role play perspective, I can't pretend that I'm anything besides a human, right? So I just want to play as a human, living with these other races, you know, and just be with them in the world. It adds to the immersion for me personally if I'm just playing as a human. I know that's the boring thing, but that's kind of what I've always done.
If it works for you, that's all that matters.
Now, race, or I mean, class. Sorry to say, Lexer, but I am planning on being a paladin, a hard-working paladin.
Hey, welcome to the light, my friend.
If I don't hear it, it doesn't bother me.
Hardworking paladin. Okay,
that's all that matters. Nothing. I find nothing more disgraceful than a lazy paladin.
So, so on screen we have an image that you designed. Want to quickly talk about it real quick? Where you got the inspiration from and everything?
Yes. So it's based off of some Pantheon official art, and I just one day was bored and I was looking at it, did my own version of it. That's supposed to be my face attached to it, so that's just kind of like my avatar for now. I'm really hoping that the character creation allows me to make my ugly face something similar to that. That's what I'm hoping for.
Cool. Looks really good. So do you do this kind of stuff?
Leaps and bounds better than I can do.
Yeah. So I used to do animation back. My stuff still exists. If you guys remember the website Newgrounds, back when that was popular, I did a lot of animation on Newgrounds and a little bit on YouTube. So art has always been something I've enjoyed.
Cool.
Cool, yeah. So while you were following the game, what was the first moment that left you awestruck?
To be honest, Brad McQuaid. That's all it really took for me. I'm a huge fan of EverQuest, everything he's done. So, I mean, the innovation and the invention he's had to the MMORPG market is bar none, in my opinion. He's like the father of the genre, that we know it and loved it. So as far as the game itself, though, when I heard the passion of the development team and their dedication to bringing back the classic MMO gameplay that I've yearned to return back to for years, that was it. That's all I needed. Old school mechanics and design philosophy and Brad McQuaid and his vision. And it's not being backed by a big developer. Yeah. So I have more faith that his vision is going to come to full fruition like we've never seen it before.
Right. Now, we know you're going to be a filthy human paladin, but what starting area, not necessarily human, are you most excited to see and why?
To be honest, I think that the Dark Mirror starting area is going to be fantastic. My wife is going to be a mirror, so I'm going to get to live through that vicariously through her character. And I'll definitely be making an alt because I want to see what's going on with the Scar, because their lore is very just vicious and tribal, and so
Sure.
I'm definitely going to have to check that out too. So out of the two, the Scar more, Dark Mirror number 2. I think.
Cool.
And I'm not just saying that to get points. I'm a dirty paladin.
So, if you had the
Just means you
choice,
got good taste.
if you had the choice of starting in a new area, or starting in a new, hang on, let me get this question correct. Hang on. If you had the choice of starting in a new starting area or a single area where all new characters spawn, which would you choose and why?
Definitely would pick each race having their own starting area. It's just so classic, it gives me the feels. So I'm sure, since I'm playing human, that that particular area won't be as grandiose and as some of the other races. I always like feeling like my character has a home, like they had a place they came from, and somewhere when I return to it, it kind of has the memories of the early parts of the game, and it feels more specific to me. Because that's where my race started, so I always kind of enjoyed that. And plus I love when you, like EverQuest or what have you, when you're with other humans at first. Mostly there'll be a couple other people traveled or whatever, but you're mostly with humans, and then as your character evolves and get out further into the world, then you start interacting with other races and things, and that's just really me.
Yeah. So when it comes to housing, are you an open world fan or an instanced fan?
Coming from Ultima Online, I am definitely of the open world. I know there's issues with trying to do that big time, but I like everything in my MMO if possible. Like I talked about earlier, I played I played Ultima Online back in the day, and the housing being right out there in the world, that had a major impact on me back then. That people were like setting up shops, and they would try to like sell things that they thought would be relevant for that area and things like that. And actually, another funny thing about EverQuest, that night that I finally got logged on, and I made a human paladin, and I'm running around, and I get into Keynotes, and I see all these little signs for the shops and things like that. I came from Ultima. I thought those were player-ran shops. That's what I thought. I thought they made the logos for them and everything. I was running around like, wow, must be uploading images and making their own shops. So that wasn't true, but that's awesome. What I thought. That's what I thought was happening. But there's just something definitely awesome about having a place that's yours or a plot in the game, that's there on that server, and knowing that as others wander by, they see it and put something in the world. It's a magical thing. Now, I will also say that EverQuest 2, their answer to housing, where it was an instance, but it was still a place in the world, just shared with others. I'd be okay with that. I mean, I don't mind either way. I would deal with it, but if there was a good way to do open world housing, I would really like it.
What if there was a mixture of both?
I would be totally okay with that. The only thing I can think of where they mix it would be like the EverQuest 2 system. But they're pretty crafty at Visionary Realms, so we'll see what they end up doing with that.
Yep, definitely. They've got experience with open housing as well. When you look at Vanguard,
yes,
they've been able to build out in the world, so they definitely know what challenges lie ahead if they do plan to do something like that. So, are you playing anything else while you're waiting for Pantheon?
Sure. Right now, specifically, I'm playing Redemption 2. That's just a wonderfully crafted Western-themed world. Having a lot of fun with it. But also yesterday, the Rings Online Legend server launched. Actually, now 2 servers. So I started it last night, so I'm playing through some of it. The wife and I have also been playing EverQuest. It's her first time, so I've been taking her through EverQuest, and also Dark Age of Camelot on a classic server. I play all kinds of games. MMORPGs are my passion, but I'm trying right now to get all the various games that I can, because you know, once Pantheon launches, I'm not going to be in the mood to play absolutely anything else. So
yep.
I'm trying to get my gaming wiggles out right now.
Get it all out. Get out the system. Shake it off.
Yeah.
So, what mechanics are you mostly looking forward to in Pantheon?
Number one's going to definitely be the perception system. You know, just how quests are going to unfurl before us, depending on our alignments and that kind of thing. So, you know, just discovering little bits of lore and finding those little nuggets of lore pockets and things to enjoy during adventures in the game. I think honestly, it's the most amazing time to be alive, or well, it will be when the game launches, because everything about Pantheon's community-driven gameplay, just grouping up in public dungeons, drinking and hanging out with online friends, you know, going down in deep in the dungeons, getting that max XP. That's all I want out of life. That's it.
Cool.
Now, let's just kind of theorize a little bit here. If Visionary Realms were to add virtual reality to Pantheon, what do you think would be the most exciting aspect that would come with that?
Well, I have a VR setup, and I've played around with it and had some really amazing experiences with it. For anybody that's played Skyrim VR, I think you can kind of pretend that you're in an MMO while you're kind of playing it. And the main thing for dealing with Pantheon with VR would be, I've actually put a lot of thought about this into it. So if you think about some of the magic that is missing now in a new MMO that was there back in 1999, 2000, some of the magic of entering a world with other people, you know, online, it's been done so many times that magic we felt back then is gone. You know, it's just it's expected now. It's just not as magical as it was at that time when this was something unheard of. But if you mix in VR with it, I feel like you're entering another time that would be just as magical as it was in 1999, because yeah, we're used to playing with other people, but something about being in VR, it's like you're really there, like experiencing the world for real. You know, that
cue a whole new world music from Disney's Aladdin.
You just gave me a vision. Basically, you put on the VR goggles or whatever you've got, you launch the game, and now you start entering the game. The screen that's black starts to fade into colors and everything, and you're in the middle of the battlefield. You're thrown right in the middle of the battlefield. You don't know where you are, what you're doing. You get involved in the battle. That's how I kind of picture it right now from your description.
Yeah, and you're there. You know, it's like you're really there. You can kind of immersion is great, but VR is just like forced immersion. Like you have no choice but to be immersed in the game. So I wouldn't tell VR or Visionary Realms to slow down the launch process just to get virtual reality into the game. I wouldn't say that, but if they can pull it off in any kind of way, experience the world like that, they're really going to have something special.
Yeah. So
a question Lex hates to ask.
Hey, that's a fun question. Does size matter, or should size matter when you're playing MMO?
Yeah, I think it does. You know, for example, like having a buddy that's running with you that's a huge hulking ogre beast. You know, that kind of adds to the experience. The larger. This is what we're talking about, right? Am I off topic? Is this the question?
No, that's it. Like, say, should there be differences between the ogre character and a halfling character?
Oh yes, definitely. And also the feeling of the weight and the bulk and the size, I think is important too. I don't know how to put my finger on the physics of how the developers do that, but you know, you'll have some games where it's a large character and he just kind of glides and it doesn't feel like there's any weight or bulk behind him. So I've got no doubt at all that Visionary Realms is going to pull that off. But there's also something else to it, I think. Like, for example, if my wife picked to be a female or ogre, and she's a healing class always, and I know, you know, let's just say she's a large character, a huge muscle-massed creature. You know, I wouldn't feel the need to protect her as much, right? Like, I might more feel like she should protect me, you know, like, you know, she's going to pick a dainty little dark mirror with big puppy dog eyes and all this and just melt your heart, you know, kind of thing, you know, and that affects people, you know, you feel like you need to protect that person. So I think when we're making their character and what they're planning on being with that character, they should take into account their size and things like that. I think everybody really should. I think it's important. I think it changes the way people behave.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Right, so we're now going to theorize. Close your eyes for this one and picture yourself in the world of Terminus. You stumble across a hidden area in Pantheon. You know the area is a bit too tough for you on your own, but you've heard the treasure you get from there is absolutely epic. What do you do?
Oh, well, first of all, you're making my mouth water. I'm going to get draw over this tablecloth here, and my wife will get upset.
Get the coaster! Get the coaster!
But this is seriously the exact scenario of me up all night, drinking coffee and playing this game and skipping work and getting zero sleep. So I would definitely gather up my online friends, my guild mates, get my wife on, and we're going in. You know, we're going in. We're going to strategize. We're going to take it slow. We're going to clear the mobs carefully and precisely. We're going to crawl our way through, and we're going to take that risk. We're going into this area. So, you know, in Terminus, you know, you got to take risks if you want to get the rewards. So we're going to go in there. We're going to go creeping through, and one or all of you guys hopefully will be with me, and we're going to have a good time. We're doing this. We're going to be doing some corpse runs. We're going to be doing some corpse runs probably, but let's overstaff on the tanks and make sure we got a couple of healers and some DPS, and let's go. We're doing it.
No, I like that answer. I mean, that's kind of what you would expect for anyone that's really excited about Pantheon, because that means you won't shy away from a challenge.
Yep.
No, you're not going to get the reward if you.
Right, and not necessarily the gear reward, but the experience reward as well. Like the experience with your group.
Exactly.
Or the experience of getting your ass kicked.
Exactly.
And I plan on plenty of it.
I can put my hand to whatever book that you think is holy, and I can tell you that I will get my group killed.
Oh, me too.
More than we can chew. But
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's still fun, as long as you don't do it every time. Going back to character creation, do you feel that there's any features that you could possibly live without?
Yeah, so I have a pet peeve about this, actually. So right now, the 2018, at the time of this recording, it's kind of popular. It's actually almost demanded that MMOs have a how to say this nicely, a breast and a butt slider. All right, to make, and it's just kind of gotten out of control these days. You know, I enjoy running around the MMOs and seeing people that look different, you know, and have various things and looking at how people have made their character and all that. But I really don't like running around an MMO and seeing a bunch of porn star looking characters or just completely outrageous. You know, and that might just be me. I'm probably in the minority here. My wife, for example, she will want a sliders for both, right? She will. She's going to want that. But as long as they keep it reasonable, there's nothing wrong having that feature in there. But hopefully everybody knows what I'm talking about, where you can just like go
the proportions go way out there.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's you know, it just doesn't make sense. So I have no doubt that Visionary Rounds is not going to go into that territory. I have absolutely no worries that they're going to do that. But I just hope that they're not tempted to overindulge on the sliders and things like that. I don't think they will, but I'm being half silly about it, honestly. But the industry, I feel like, has gone into full-blown absurdity sometimes with character creators.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So basically, if VR ever watches this, please, if you're going to have endowment sliders, please be reasonable.
Just be reasonable. That's all. Just be reasonable.
I'm a man that is very fond of the female form, and I can tell you that if there's torpedoes hanging off of a woman's chest that require extra beams of support, no. I don't find it funny. I don't find it any realm acceptable.
Yeah, it's immersion breaking, you know.
Yeah.
So that's about it. I'm down with whatever. Honestly, it can be as ridiculous as they want it to be, or as just from a 5 faces. I really don't care. I know that I think they're going to pick a middle ground. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. That's what I think.
Basically, making the male or the female character in armor move around in a realistic fashion, how we would expect it. That's as far, you know, as they should go, basically.
Right. Right.
As long as the movements are natural and realistic to whatever armor they're wearing, I'm perfectly fine. So, kind of sticking towards what you don't want to see. What do you want to see in Pantheon that other MMOs currently have in their game?
Telegraphs. I'm hoping that we find a better way to do mechanics in game and things than telegraphs. I'm really tired of telegraph dodge mechanic gameplay. That's almost a game breaker for me. I mean, I'd be okay if it does have it or it doesn't have it in the final product, but I really hope we can move past that and into something else. I mean, for example, if I'm fighting a dragon and he rears back and he starts spewing fire, I just know that the fire hurts me, and I can see the projecting path of it, and I can kind of get out of the way. And you know, I know that fire is bad. I don't need there to be a big neon sign, red flashing, you know, beware of this specific area. And I'm more of you just have to memorize it, right? Like when he does this motion, he's about to spew it in there, and it's going to drop in some pools around the area, and you just try to find somewhere the safest area you can get, or even luck. I would be over. I would pick luck over telegraphs. I'm very, very tired of those. I'm afraid that in game they may do it, and I'll still play the game if they do, but I just hope that we find a better way.
Yep, definitely. Couldn't agree more there.
Oh yeah, I've always been of the fan group of let the telegraph be through dialogue or animations, or even a spell effect, not necessarily this gigantic circle on the ground that's flashing red going, my God, you need to move!
Yep, you got 5 seconds to get out of that circle. Quickly, run!
and honestly, it's not like the DPS actually move anyway.
Oh! Sheep shot! Sheep shot! But hey, it's absolutely true. So, you talked about roleplay already when it comes to your characters. So, does it matter what gender you play? If so, what is your preference in game?
No, I mean, I'm gonna pick. I have to pick once again. I'm a human. I want to play a human. I'm a dude. I'm gonna have to play a dude. But it doesn't matter to me what other people do. So like, if I have a real life friend actually. He always plays a female, and that's just what he likes to do, and that's fine. But me personally, once again, from a role play perspective, I'm not gonna even sit here and pretend like I actually understand the species. So I've given up on trying to do that. So I can't play as a female because I don't know how to role play as a female.
I'm right there with you, brother. I've tried and I can't do it. I feel like I'm being incredibly insulting to the females, every female on the planet.
That's how I feel.
Hey, I'll give you guys some crash courses. How about that when the game comes out?
Nope, I don't need to hear about your filthy habits. My virgin ears.
But you know, you just made me think. It's interesting though, because you know, I do think I would have a problem if my wife decided to play a male character. I just thought of it. For one thing, I just talked about earlier that she likes to slide if they've got the on the dimensions. She likes to slide them up. Now she's playing a male character. She did that. I think I might start to feel a little insecure. Like maybe that's what she's into. You know. So that'd be very confusing.
Would it bother you if your wife decided to play a male character with you?
Yeah, I think it would. I think it would, because I once again, when the game, I want to be in the game. I want it to be so. If you're playing as a female character, then when we're playing the game, no matter, even if we're on voice chat, it doesn't matter. To my brain, that character is a female, right? So if my wife was doing it, it would feel awkward. She can do it, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, but opposite. Like, I always use my name in games. My wife always uses her name in games. So when I see her name above a character, I see her.
Right.
I don't see the character. And then if I look down from the name and see, this big burly ogre, I'm gonna be like, oh hell no.
Yeah, I feel
Hey, you got to see it this way, Lex. After playing the game, you haven't seen your wife for a couple of hours. Yeah, you got this ogre in front of you. You got to look at it like the Princess and the Frog. She logs out from this ugly-looking ogre, and there she stands, the wonderful-looking woman.
I'm supposed to be the frog.
Hey, I'm right here, guys. I'm right here. God.
All right, we'll get back on topic. So, which in-game environment, or biome, if you will, are you most excited to spend time in?
The dungeons, all of them, all the dungeons, all the wonderful, dark, creepy, undead-filled crypts and crevices of Terminus. I want to learn all of them. I'm not necessarily excited about one than the other. I want to know all of them. I want to spend an outrageous, completely unreasonable time in each one of them, grinding, hanging out, and figuring out layout. I want to make my own maps. I want to have them posted on the wall. I want to go completely all the way in on the dungeons. Some people like beaches and exotic cities and locales. I just want a digital public dungeon, tons of them, and that's really all I want out of my life. Terminus dungeon. So the bigger, the more complicated, the more labyrinthy, the better. So secret hallways, unknown areas, that's what.
Illusory walls. So this is not part of the questions, but I'll ask you, which kind of dungeon do you prefer? Do you prefer like the open, rather bright, more vertical style like Amber Fate that we've seen? Or do you prefer the dark, claustrophobic, almost a little scary like Helner's Cave?
Yeah, so I want the dark, creepy, well, also keep in mind I've been a paladin forever, so I get a little boon from fighting the undead. So I've kind of always had, I've always enjoyed the creepy, dark crypt, like, undead, zombies, that kind of thing coming at me. So
towards the danger.
Yeah, and I like them all. Any kind of dungeon, I'll enjoy it, but I really like that feeling of you're underneath, you're going up under the earth, Wolverines, all that kind of stuff with the dwarves and all that. I just love it. That's what I'm all about. So I always feel like when I'm under the dungeon, or when I'm deep in a dungeon, I'll be wondering, I wonder what's above me. I wonder what I'm under right now. On the map, like, wonder what this would be on the map above ground, and also the fact that they've already 100% basically confirmed that dungeons are going to have multiple exits back out into the map.
Yeah,
so you can use dungeons to get to other areas. Oh, that's so awesome, man. I'm so excited about that.
That is very Lord of the Rings-esque.
Yes.
So I know this is a pretty touchy subject for me, at least, but how do you feel about data mining? Like, people going into game assets and discovering things that might not be public knowledge yet and releasing it to the world?
I hate that we live in a world where people are breaking apart the developers' codes and releasing every little detail. Because you got to figure these developers spent all this time meticulous hiding, you know, and making this world and waiting for it to be discovered, and then somebody just kind of almost hacks their way into the code and releases all this information about stuff that they wanted to organically happen in the world. And, you know, this guy discovered it, you know, on this server first and things like that. And then data mining kind of just ruins that. So I'll be avoiding that like the plague. It would actually, if I was playing Pantheon, and if my channel was just about me, then you know, avoiding data mining and all the news and stuff that comes from it actually is technically hurting my channel, because you probably get more views talking about these kind of things. But I would rather not even know about them or try to avoid them and discover them from the players and for the community. That's what I like. I hate that we live in this world where people can even do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar situation. I hate the feeling of like a surprise has been spoiled for me.
Yeah. But
how do you feel about the websites that gather information, like Wowhead, Alakazam, if the old EQers out there? You know, I mean, they're technically kind of data mining as well. I mean, are those ones okay?
Well, I think I've just come to a conclusion that we can't stop. So I'm okay with them being out there. Now, me personally, sometimes I might have to. You know what I mean? I might be in a situation.
You might get stuck on something.
Yeah, and I'm behind the curve, maybe. You know, or we've been wandering around. We don't know where the heck we are. You know, and nobody's having fun anymore. And I might alt tab and check it out and say, all right, let me just use this to get us out of here. But so you know, they have their good. And for some people, there's a lot of people actually, I don't even think they would play Pantheon. You know, certain type of people, if they didn't have access to something to help them out. So I'm okay with it. I'll make my own maps and laugh when I'm wrong and that kind of thing. But so yeah, you know, I might make a video where I kind of say, hey, there's this really cool spot in this dungeon. Let me show you how I got there. You know, I might do that, you know, and kind of walk people through something really cool I found. But yeah, I wouldn't. It would be a last resort for me to use.
Oh yeah.
The thing that bugs me the most about these websites, you know, I'm fine with whatever. It's the attitude of the community that has come from it. When you log into a game for the first time, you never played this game before, it's been around for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years, and you ask a question that's been answered on every single website, and chat starts to tear you apart, go to the websites, Google it, do this. That's what bugs me, is that the communities aren't communities anymore. It's all, you know, you get torn to pieces for asking a question that might have been asked 1,000 times prior, but now it's all public information. That person might be asking a question because he wants to communicate and he's too shy to be more direct. So he'll ask it through asking for some simple advice. And the attitude, the way they get treated, that's what bugs me the most, is the attitude error that's come from these websites that provide us with all this information, because now people get torn to pieces because, hey, Google it for Christ's sake, it's on the internet, don't bug me with this, with a question like that, I haven't got the time to answer it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's almost like you're expected to already know this, right? Because it's on the internet. You know, you're being late, looking it up and already in advance knowing everything that's about to happen because the information is out there. So you're right. That's not good for a community.
Right. See, since Yarn even mentioned that, I always looked at it like this, like the information that's on the website, let's just assume it's not data mined and it was put there by a human, okay? To just avoid that side of it all. If I'm stuck, and I know this has been an easy quest, and I don't have a whole lot of time, then I'll check the website. Because maybe I'm just anxious to get it done.
Right.
Or maybe, like, for, like, EverQuest epics, I want to see what the steps are so I can prepare. But I also never understood why the community, or at least people in a global chat, would get incredibly rude to people asking these questions, especially in that manner, because more often than not, they do know that those websites exist. I mean, there are a few people who might not know, but the whole point of asking is to engage with a person, trying to create an experience with another person in the game. While it's easy to go to a website, get the answer, and just go on your merry way, there's something to be said about saying, "Hey, Mr. Napalm, do you know where to find this glowing key?" You go, "Yeah, let me show you." And then we go off on a 2-hour adventure, have a good time. We're on each other's friends list now. Maybe the next day, 2 days down the road, maybe for the next week, we group together.
I'm not sure how the friends list is going to work. Him being a paladin, you being a dire lord.
Whenever it comes up on my screen, I'll put a little piece of tape on my monitor that covers up paladin. That's all.
A hard-working paladin.
That's right. I said that before the show. That paladins are fine as long as they're hardworking. Lazy paladins, well, they can be turned to dog food for all I care. But the next time that we see somebody asking one of these questions, that could be simple. People from EverQuest might know this question quite often. Where do I turn in crush bone belts?
Yeah.
Instead of telling people to look it up, why not take the chance and maybe make a friend, make an ally, make someone that you can call on down the road when he hits at max level. You know, one more person that you can add to your repertoire or your catalog of allies. You know, instead of being mean and nasty to someone you don't even know, and potentially taking one person out of the community altogether, because we live in an age of where people go from 0 to 100 like that. They can go from having the best time of their lives to, I'm uninstalling this game, it's a piece of garbage, all because someone treated them like garbage on a bad day.
Because what is the point of an MMO? It's there to engage with thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of other people. And it doesn't matter if it's a question on a quest or anything that's on a website. It's about engaging with other people from all over the world.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I won't get too much more preachy than I already have, but I'll just say that anyone out there that has actually taken the time to answer a stupid question from a newbie, thank you. On to the questions. So, please regale us with information about your YouTube channel.
Sure. So, to be honest with you, to start off, I did not originally create this YouTube channel to talk about Pantheon all day, every day. That wasn't my original intention. I just wanted to do like things, be funny, and release my digital comic, stuff like that. But once I opened my mouth, I couldn't take it no more, and I was just like, I'm too excited. I've got to get out there. And I did it one time, and that was all I do, just mention it. You know, I was excited about it. And once I opened my mouth, Pandora's box is what my wife calls it, poured out of me. And now I just don't ever shut up. It's all, you know, on YouTube, off YouTube, at work, getting coffee. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about Pantheon 24/7 now. I can't quit. I can't shut up. And thankfully, there's enough people out there that are enjoying it. I would do it anyway, to be honest, but there's enough people out there enjoying it. So that's kind of what I've devoted it to, since that's what I like to do anyway, and that's what people are enjoying. So we just basically, my point of the channel is just to kind of gather up a community, discuss it, talk about it, hopefully get some new people that didn't know about it to learn a little bit about it, get them interested in the game, kind of promote it. And I really hope it grows and becomes a source for people that want to play the game or know about the game. And the other thing, though, is I kind of got into puppets, and I've been trying to figure out how to combine that. I have a couple of things coming in the future, but I've been trying to figure out a way to convert these puppets into something Pantheon related, and also
interesting
artwork. Yeah. So
you'll have to elaborate now.
well, I tried to have conversations with Brad McQuaid and Joppa, and I tried to get in on a developer stream. I was a little late to the party for them to schedule me in, so I didn't get in. But I tried to, one last ditch effort was I was going to try to let my puppet stream, right? So what I was really going to do was I was going to let my wife the game, and I was going to have a mirror image of the monitor and have the webcam set up and make it look like the puppet was playing and just comment on what he was doing. So I think I'm going to do some stuff like that, though. When the game launches, I think I'm going to do some puppet stream of the game. And before I do it, I'll test it out and do like maybe EverQuest or something.
Cool, man. That sounds interesting. Yeah. Definitely. I'll support you.
Yeah. Now, speaking of streaming, will you be streaming on YouTube?
Yeah, probably. I'm more comfortable with that platform. I might be willing to learn Twitch and do that, but I'm definitely more comfortable on YouTube. So we'll see. I'm not sure.
Cool. So what can people expect to see from your channel in the future? Anything there apart from the puppets?
Yeah. So another big thing that's coming is I'm going to be doing actually, I'm glad you said that. You got me make a decision. So I'm making a Pantheon animated series, and I did it already. Actually, I actually made almost an entire episode, but it was very comical and it was funny. And I decided that's not what I want to do, so I've scrapped it. And I've started a new one. So what I'm thinking I want to do is tell small, short, maybe minute and a half, 2 minute long lore of the game. So if you guys wanted to see a cartoon of something from Pantheon in the lore of what we know so far, what would you guys like to see?
Are you talking the lore, the actual lore from the lore section of the website, or just lore as in information about the world?
Yeah, so like, for example, the thing that I've been thinking in my head that would make a cool cartoon is the dark mirror, the poison water coming out, the sacrifice that was made, all that kind of stuff. That's what I've been thinking of, is like maybe I'll run through a couple of different pieces and animate.
Yeah, I think maybe going through, the lore of the individual races and kind of turning that into a 90 seconds, this is how it kind of all happened, would be pretty cool to see. But I've got some ideas, and I'll talk to you after we finish here.
Cool.
So that we can keep the surprise going. I've got some ideas there for you.
Okay.
But
cool.
yeah, I think that's a good idea, though.
I was gonna say, anything Scar or Dire Lord related, I'm there. Or anything where a certain Scar Dire Lord beats a Dark Mirror cleric with a paladin shirt, that's good too. Just whips it to death, I'm cool with that.
Well, with the Scar, though, before I put them on an animation form, I'm going to have to feel comfortable of this is how they're going to look in the final product, because I don't think we've got the final look yet, to be honest.
I'm praying every day. Every freaking day.
I don't think that's the final look.
Oh God, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I don't need an email from VR basically telling me that they're gonna disown me and you're no longer welcome on their anything.
So I've already linked your channel in chat, but are there other ways to communicate with you?
Yeah, so I have a Twitter account too. It's also under TheNathanNapalm. And I usually, if you're interested in playing games with me, that's the best way. I'll announce it before I go on a game and tell you my character's name in that game. So if people want to join up in that particular game and play with me, try to make it easier for people to do that. So that's really all I've got right now.
We can stalk him.
Digitally stalk me all you want. So yeah, that's about it. Twitter and YouTube is okay.
So getting back on like the tech side of things. I'm curious what your opinion is of like third-party apps that link to your game experience, like being able to craft from your smartphone or being able to talk to your friends through a desktop app, with your guild and everything like that. Are they good, or are they kind of pushing that line a little too far?
Well, I think it depends. If I'm able to craft on my phone, then I feel like there needs to be a system in place in the game to where my character's actually still in the world. Maybe I can't move them, but they're wherever I logged them off at. I don't know how they could pull it off, but I don't want there to be a disconnect between the online Terminus, as we know when we log on our PC, and there being this kind of subcategory on an app where it's linked to the real world, but it's kind of like its own entity. I would rather the world be one piece. And I actually, as far as like third-party tools that you would add to the game for like DPS meters and things like that, is that also what you mean? Yeah,
we can do that too. Like with add-ons and such?
Yeah, add-ons. So I've somehow magically in all my years avoided those. I've never used a single one. So I don't. If the developer didn't put it in the game, I feel like it's none of my business. So
you wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss it because the game was developed without it. So I don't. I'm not a big fan of those. Now, actually, I lied. I said I've never used one. There have been a few role-playing type add-ons that I have used in the past. But that's about it.
See, the cool thing is though, if you don't use them, these add-ons, you can call yourself an old schooler. I'm playing EverQuest 2 old school style. I don't use a new UI overlay or anything like that. I've actually been looked at weird because I used the old UI, the original UI from EverQuest 2 to play my healers. And people are like, how do you do it? It's like, how? Why are you making life complicated? I'm not.
To be fair, especially when it comes to UIs, I personally am a minimalist. The extra flourishes and details, like borders on your hit point window or something like that, they're nice, but to me, I don't want them. I don't need them. They don't serve a purpose. Get them out of my face.
Yeah.
So I think there is a certain point where add-ons are, I want to say for some people needed, because let's just say if a lot of these Korean-style games let you do add-ons with the UI, 95% of it would be gone for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta quickly ask us another side question though, because we haven't brought this up in quite some time actually. What would you say if Pantheon decided to release Pantheon, or VR decided to release Pantheon Rise of the Fallen on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 additionally? Would you be fine with it, or do you think that would kind of break the balance?
Well, I am, as we talked about earlier, I'm a gamer before I came to the PC Master Race, but I would be okay with it. The problem is, a couple problems with it is, number one, that hardware is static. So games like, for example, Final Fantasy 11, which is a one game, but it was on the PS2, and it held the developers back from doing something they wanted to do because they had to also allow anything in that game to be possible on the PS2 as well. On the flip side of that, though, you have Final 15, which was released on the PS3, and as they decided they wanted to continue forward, they just said, sorry, PS3 players, it's not available for you, right? And they just offered, like, it's for free to get on the PS4. You don't have to rebuy the game or anything. We're trying to move forward with the hardware, and we can't if we're still supporting this old hardware. So I think Pantheon's going to have a very long life. I think it's going to go down, not go down, but it's going to continue on for a very long time. So I would hate to see them limit themselves that way. And then you got the whole mess of controller and trying to match up all these commands with button layout. So
I have a solution. Mobile only.
Please, dear God, no.
Well, we saw.
Oh my God!
We saw Ronick with his phone when they did the Pantheon meetup. I think at TwitchCon, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Where he had his phone up when he was with Baz, showing him something. So maybe that's a hint.
I was almost laughing before I even said it. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. In what universe was that a good thought?
Yeah. I would vanish from the planet. I would delete my channel. I would to another country and change my name if Pantheon announced their mobile only. You know.
I'm sorry, but that whole mobile only thing, I'm embarrassed for them.
Yeah, that was very awkward. That was very awkward.
I had to do it. I had to. Oh my God.
So, if you could copy a character creation section out of any other game and add it into Pantheon, which game would it come from and why?
I would pick Elder Scrolls Online. Now, not because of I think Pantheon has much better art design than Elder Scrolls Online, but I think it's pretty good. You can make it. You can make a character. It's got plenty of options for changing it around and making it unique to yourself. But it's not over the top. It's nothing too crazy. I don't feel like, and I kind of like it. Out of all, I know. Like Black Desert Online has like a really ridiculous character creator. That's a little much. Basically, I just want some beard options. I want to look like a little bit of a buffer person myself, kind of thing. And because let's face it, once Pantheon comes out, I'm probably going to be losing even more weight because I'm not going to be leaving this specific area that I'm sitting right now. So and
there's a reason our chairs have wheels.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, did my headset just die? Yes, it did. Okay,
we hear you.
It's back. Sorry, I actually kind of docked.
I thought for a minute there. Oh my God, my audio's gone again. Technical difficulties.
For those of you that don't know, Yarn's headset's been dying on him randomly.
Oh yeah.
So let's fast forward 3 years from now. Or, sorry, 3 years after release. What do you think the Pantheon experience has become?
Well, I think Pantheon is going to get to that 3-year mark. I think they're going to go through quite a struggle. I think the first year, I think it's going to be much more popular than people are kind of anticipating right now. There's just simply not enough options for new MMO right now. So some people say I'm crazy, but I believe millions are going to flood in the gate from the get-go. Yeah. It's a new MMO. I don't know anything. I'm buying it, right? Like I want to play the new MMO. So just by being new, I think it's going to launch in a million or so people, and or maybe something like 500,000, but whatever. It's going to be massive, and that's not going to be sustainable, and it's not going to sustain that way. And depending on how Visionary Round lays out the servers, it could be disastrous. We've seen MMO launches where they were expecting the entry explosion numbers, so I don't need to go into that. The drill. But I think on the second year, we'll be looking at the core players. We'll be, for the most part, doing end-game stuff. We'll be to the point where the game's been out long enough. We'll be whining about certain camps we can't get into during our play times and stuff like that. That'll be the main talk of the day. And by the end of the third year, because the team is kind of small, I think by the end of the third year, it'll be about the time looking at full expansion coming out. I think that would be a reasonable time frame for them to probably do an expansion. And I think it'll be huge. I think it'll just be some little more like a DLC. I think it'll be a full on, amazing expansion. We're all going to be really excited about it. We're going to all talking about rumors and we'll think this and that means. And we're all basically going to be hungry for the mama's milk, I guess you could say. So, and the other thing is, I think we'll be really, really, really good at Pantheon. Like, have a lot of people with the best in slot. We'll have mastered what's from the launch. And I think there'll be big major guilds, massive ones that people are applying for, and they'll have in each server, I think, will also have its own identity by then for sure.
Cool. Yep.
No, I can get behind that.
Definitely. Kind of on the same page there. So, would you attend a Pantheon type event, and how far would you go to travel to get there? What would get you there?
I would most certainly go. It wouldn't take much to get me there, to be honest. If you know something I don't know, are you guys involved in a Pantheon event? Am I invited? Let's go. I wouldn't.
If the VOT ever does hosts one, you can bet your butt a lot of invites be going out.
Awesome.
And it wouldn't be a Pantheon, it would be a Pantheon.
Get in my van! Oh wait,
oh, that's a good idea. We'll do something like a Scooby-Doo kind of the Mystery Inc. vehicle kind of thing. Travel around the US in the Mystery Inc. The VOT Inc. man, picking up people.
Open up the side door and there's like two PCs.
And then next it will be like, "Welcome to the light."
And then I'll leave you behind as I go to pawn everything that's in the van. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, are you planning on joining a guild? Are you in a guild? And what's your reference?
I've got a few of my viewers that are interested in me creating a guild. I've had in the past. So at this particular time, this could very well change. I'm thinking on making a guild for some like-minded gamers, just good people that just want to lose themselves in a digital world. But as we get closer to launch, I'll make a final decision on that. I'm not sure if that would be the best thing to do, or maybe maybe I will kind of help people get to a guild that would be better for them or for what they want to do in the game. So I'm not sure which direction I'm going to take at this time.
Cool.
I think for some reason I just pictured a character running past me with the little angle brackets under his name that just says Napalm, and I'm like, ah!
I can picture him now in game with a sign on his back, looking for a guild. 0900 Napalm.
No, you get the hero paladin with pamphlets.
Guild advice.
Throw it fast.
Yeah, it's like
100 Napalm.
We don't have lawyers. We don't have lawyers in MMOs. We have actually people that represent guilds and bring you to the guild that suits you best.
Right.
That would actually be kind of an interesting development to see, almost like, not necessarily a guild agent, but almost like a person that acts as a guild directory. Mm-hmm. Someone could go to and say, I'm on the East Coast. I'm a casual raider because I have a family, but I do like to raid. Like, oh, I know just a guild you'd probably work with.
But the thing is though, it's subject to fraud as well. Here's 20 gold. Yes. Here's 20 gold. I want to be in the elite guild. 20 gold. Get me in there.
No, see, the guild that gets to recruit would get a kickback once the recruitment is finished. There you go.
There you go. That's a good idea.
So hey, VR, is that a good idea?
No, it is not. Not at all. Not even remotely.
Oh. I think we have to do a whole topic on that discussion.
Oh, please don't. It's one of those ones where it's an interesting idea, but that's where it ends.
Yeah, I meant more like my channel would help people. Like, hey, this guild's really good. If you're looking for game rating, it's what they put on. Here's another guild that's more casual. And just help direct people to not necessarily my guild, but to a guild.
Right, and to be honest, if you don't run a guild, that's a very valuable service to a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many people out there have actually guild hopped? Going to one guild to the next guild to the next, just trying to find one that fits you.
Right.
It's not easy. And more often than not, leaving these guilds is not a very pleasant experience. And eventually you get to the point where you just say, I'm done. And I know I've hit that point in a lot of games, and I still to this day sit here and wonder what kind of friends I have missed out on meeting because I had given up.
Hey! That's a slap in my face, Lex.
You ain't my friend. You got that damn shirt. Friends don't put other friends on Paladin reference shirts. It's the way it is. It's like one of the bro code. You don't do it. So it all boils down to only one question. Everything else has just been a formality. Who is the VOT host with the most?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with. I put a lot of thought. So I thought about it. I pondered on it, and I came up with a solution. I'm gonna have to pick Lexer because he hates paladins, and I am one, and I have to appease him. So I'm never gonna be invited to anything you guys do if I don't appease him. So Lexer, you have my vote.
You assume I have power.
Exactly. Feel my wrath.
Feel my wrath with this stuff.
You see. The thing is, right?
He looks terrified.
The thing is, you might group with us, but don't forget, he's only the Dire Lord. I'm the healer, my friend.
Oh, I see.
And I might let your corpse drop.
I always come with the hell of them.
You notice he didn't say good healer.
Because I'm the only healer, okay?
That's why I'm going to have my little list of healers I can count on. And then I'll have yarn.
Oh, Lex, wait. You wait, my friend.
And you wait when I go, oops, I forgot to taunt.
And Shy, yep. You wait as well. I'll get you back.
Yeah, you say that. You say that every time.
You don't know when it's gonna happen.
In the game,
you don't know when it's gonna happen.
Save you.
I'm terrified.
I've now got some idea.
Oh God! Oh help!
I'm gonna create a T-shirt just for Shy now, and she's gonna hate me for it.
What's gonna happen?
I already hate you, so it's not gonna make that big of a difference.
You're gonna get aggro on something mean and nasty. And I'm going to stand there and go, where's your paladin now?
So, Shy, do we have any questions from chat?
I don't know if I'm talking to you right now.
That's okay. We'll ignore him and just go.
We have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
One from Chinook asking if you are East Coast.
Yes, I am. All my life.
Short and sweet. There we go. And the other one is from AKH925, asking if you prefer a classic EverQuest gear system without level requirements, soul binding, or the modern level of level restrictions and soulbound gear. Which do you think is better and why?
I know there's issues with it, but I do prefer just I prefer that you just can put on the gear, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if I have a helmet and somebody hands it to me and they're like, oh, but you're not powerful enough to wear this. It doesn't make sense. So I think they should be able to wear it. Now, I think there should be restrictions on what that does for that person, obviously, on their levels. So it should kind of, the effects and everything that comes with it statistical value should vary depending on what level you are. And there should, I believe, if you're wearing a max level piece of gear and you're way far from being that level, then you should have repercussions. Maybe you have to have it repaired way more often, that kind of thing. I definitely never liked the, oh, I can't wear that the next level because I'm level 8 and that's a level 10 piece.
I actually like that, having to say repair it more often, because it never made sense to me. Like, oh, I'm done with this jacket. Oh, well, I need a jacket. Can I wear it? No, you can't, because for some reason it's stuck to me. But there's, you have to take into account the whole twinking aspect of MMOs, and it's like, granted, there is a fun little mini game in that, but there is a point where it becomes very discouraging to newer players. Yeah. Because it's like, you can walk through something that is taking a full group of new players to basically keep under wraps, like, say, a camp. And meanwhile, this one character is so twinked out, he can just walk through the whole thing and take it out. It kind of skews the experience, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
So, if they can get the mathematics close, I think that, say I'm a level 10, I'm wearing max gear, I'm twinked out, right? I think that gear, I think you deserve to have some kind of advantage for having access to it. However, I think it should be comparable to, and the math is not going to be exact, but it should be comparable to whatever the best level 10 available armor there is. So you're at the top, but other people could compete. Like they could be as good as you are. So some advantage, but not over the top. Did any of you guys play Dark Age of Camelot?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
Yep.
Do you remember you could wear any kind of gear, and you got some value out of it, but would wear down really fast, really quickly. You'd have to go and have paired, and I like that system because you still get some advantages, and you still feel like a BA and get to run around like, yeah, look at my awesome gear, and it looks cool, and it is. But at the same time, I never felt like those people were that incredibly more powerful than other people who just had good gear that was dropping for that.
I mean, going from, that perspective, looking at the advantage it would bring development, is they could actually spend more time in creating unique looking, really cool, outstanding gear rather than throwing tons of stuff into the game because of the, soul binding, this, that, and the other. That would give them reason to actually invest in creating cool gear, creating systems to add on to the gear, and giving us the chance to, hey, Lex takes off his jacket and gives it to this young man next to him because Lex no longer needs it.
Right.
We get to kind of recycle the gear that's already out there, and it gives the developers time to come up with really cool stuff as well. Because I would like to see less gear in the world, but therefore more meaningful.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
or at least a good way to get it out of the system.
And we should always know what that cool piece of gear is. Like, it shouldn't be like, we should know. Like, we should see it and be like, oh my god, that is the whatever, and it has a hole behind it and everything. And I know what drops is part of it. Gear should be that meaning. The good gear should be that good to where anybody that has been on that level or what have you, when they see it, they know the story behind it, they know the lore, they know what it's called. It shouldn't just be like 10,000 different pieces of armor with these random, names and stuff like that. That's not very exciting.
Yep. So, that brings us to the conclusion of this show. It was great having you on. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Next week, we have absolutely no clue what we're going to talk about. We're going to wait and see. It's going to be a surprise.
We're gonna play it safe. We're going to wait to see if the newsletter comes out, and if it does,
yep,
maybe we have something interesting to talk about. If not,
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure this.
We always do.
We always do, exactly.
Or we'll just sit around and talk about our day.
Or we could possibly...
Boy.
Yeah, we could possibly put out a tweet asking you guys to tell us what to talk about. If we don't find
God,
anything.
don't do that.
Why not?
I can only imagine.
So,
Yeah, no.
again, thanks again for joining us, everybody. It was great sitting down with you and getting to chat with you and introduce you to the community a bit more and get your thoughts on some of the development of the game. And we will see you all next Friday. Is just one last question. How frequent do you release your videos?
Try to do at least 2 or 3 a week.
Okay.
Usually Friday or Saturday, and then usually about Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, there you have it. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 3 times a week. I'll link your channel one more time for those that might come in late. There you can reach his channel on YouTube. He's got some awesome videos on there and talking about all kinds of different topics on Pantheon, mechanics, gameplay, you name it, everything's there. Short little videos, short little bursts. And we'll see you all next Friday, 6 PM Eastern, same channel, different topic. Lexa in a better mood, Shy in a better mood.
Hey!
Good night, everyone.
Have a great weekend.